Welcome, brothers and sisters. Today, we journey back to the beginning, from Genesis chapter 1, where purpose was born and destiny took shape. This isn't just a story of creation. It's a divine blueprint for your success, identity, and the power God has placed within you. Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. This verse reminds us that everything starts with God. Before time began, before anything existed, God was present, and He chose to create. Your own beginning also starts with the one who formed the universe. When you're building your dream, vision, or purpose, remember it all begins with God. He is the master architect, the originator, the source. Success that endures begins in alignment with the Creator's blueprint. This verse also teaches the principle of intentionality. God didn't create randomly. He had a divine order and purpose. That means your life is not an accident. The same God who placed stars in the sky also placed greatness inside of you. You were formed with purpose and released with potential. Don't overlook small beginnings, because every massive creation started with one divine decision, just like the heavens and the earth. Genesis 1:2. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. This shows that chaos doesn't intimidate God. Emptiness and darkness are not final. They are the raw materials for divine transformation. If your life feels out of shape, filled with confusion or uncertainty, remember that God specializes in turning voids into beauty. The Spirit of God was moving. That means even when you can't see progress, God is working behind the scenes. Movement in the Spirit often precedes manifestation in the natural. Your breakthrough may not be visible yet, but God is hovering, shaping, preparing. Don't give up in the dark. He is about to speak light into your chaos. Genesis 1:3. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. This verse teaches the power of divine speech. God spoke and creation responded. Your words carry power too. What you declare over your life, your business, your family matters. If you want to see light, speak it. If you want to see change, call it forth by faith. This also reveals how quickly things can shift. One moment it was darkness, the next, light. It doesn't take God long to change everything. What seems like a long season can suddenly be transformed with one divine word. Stay ready for sudden shifts. Keep your heart aligned with God's voice, because when He speaks, things move. Genesis 1:4. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. God is a God of evaluation and distinction. He didn't just create. He observed and discerned. Success requires the ability to pause, reflect, and separate what is beneficial from what is destructive. Not everything that shines is good, only light that comes from Him. This also speaks of setting boundaries. God separated light from darkness. In your journey, you must learn to separate clarity from confusion, truth from deception, purpose from distraction. Don't blend the two. Discern what belongs in your life and what doesn't. Divine clarity requires holy separation. Genesis 1:5. And God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Naming is a form of ownership. When God named the light and darkness, He showed His authority over time and rhythm. You too must learn to define your seasons. Speak into your life and assign meaning to your process. The fact that evening and morning made up a day reminds us that God starts with darkness and brings us into light. Your darkest hours may be the beginning of a new day. Don't judge your progress too soon. Just because it starts dark doesn't mean it will end that way. God works from night to morning, not the other way around. Genesis 1:6. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." This is about creating space. God made room in the chaos, establishing structure and order. In success, structure matters. Vision without form leads to frustration. Let God bring boundaries that protect what He's building in you. Division is not always bad. It's sometimes necessary. The firmament separated for a reason. In your journey, separation can lead to elevation. Let God remove distractions, even people, that keep you from your next level. Every elevation requires clarity of atmosphere. Genesis 1:7. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. God followed through with his word. What he spoke, he built. In life, execution matters. Don't just dream it, do it. God's creative process involved both declaration and action. This also reminds us that God can bring order to anything, no matter how chaotic. Water represents instability, yet he placed structure even in fluid environments. You may feel overwhelmed or emotionally flooded, but God knows how to separate what belongs on top and what needs to be beneath. Let him bring divine order into your mess. Genesis 1:8. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. He gave identity to what he created. Giving something a name affirms its purpose. In your journey, clarity of identity is crucial. Know what God has called you to be and walk in it without apology. Notice again. Evening came before morning. God's timing is different from ours. He may allow you to walk through the night to prepare you for dawn. Trust the process. Even if the second day still feels dark, light is on the way. Genesis 1:9. And God said, Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. God is the master organizer. When the time is right, he gathers scattered pieces and reveals what's been hidden beneath. Dry land was already there, it just hadn't surfaced yet. Likewise, your potential already exists. God is just clearing space for it to be seen. This is about emergence. You've been submerged under pressure, waiting to be recognized. But at the appointed time, God will gather the chaos and call forth what's inside you. Don't rush the process. The stage is being set for your unveiling. Genesis 1:10. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas, and God saw that it was good. Naming again represents authority. When you call something by its name, you affirm its assignment. Stop calling yourself what your past called you. Let God rename you according to purpose. He also saw that it was good. God takes pleasure in progress. You don't need to reach perfection to be called good. Celebrate the steps. Every piece of order you embrace brings you closer to his complete plan. Genesis 1:11. And God said, Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. This is the beginning of multiplication. God placed the power of reproduction within the creation itself. You have seed within you, potential that can produce beyond your lifetime. Whether it's a gift, a vision, or a business idea, God has already placed what you need inside you. What you nurture will grow. God created things to reproduce after their kind. That means if you want to change your future, you must change what you're planting. Sow faith, integrity, and diligence, because whatever you plant is what you'll eventually harvest. Don't expect fruit from a seed you've never planted. Genesis 1:12. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind, and God saw that it was good. When the earth responded to God's command, it brought results. This shows us that obedience to divine instruction always yields fruit. The earth didn't debate, delay, or resist, it simply produced. When you respond to God's voice with action, you'll see productivity and purpose flow from your life. It was good. God's standard is not perfection, but purpose fulfilled. When something functions as it was designed to, God calls it good. You may not be where you want to be yet, but if you are aligned with your assignment, heaven already sees goodness in your progress. Keep growing. Genesis 1:13. And the evening and the morning were the third day. God's rhythm of time is consistent. Evening, then morning. This reminds us that progression in God often begins in darkness. Your third day might not look bright at first, but keep trusting. Resurrection, growth, and newness are all on the other side of a faithful night. This also reminds us of the importance of trusting divine timing. Each day had its own assignments. God didn't rush the process. Likewise, your success journey has phases. Stop comparing your day 3 to someone else's day 7. God is working in order, and your time will come. Genesis 1:14. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years." This is the introduction of divine timing and cycles. God put lights in the sky, not just for beauty, but to mark seasons. That means every season of your life has a purpose, even the ones you don't understand. Seasons are God's way of developing you without overwhelming you. Success comes when you discern your season. Don't try to harvest in a planting season or force growth in a pruning season. Learn to move with God's timing. The sun, moon, and stars were appointed for order, and when you walk in step with divine timing, your life reflects that same order and peace. Genesis 1:15. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. The light God set in place wasn't just for the sky, it was meant to illuminate the earth. In the same way, the gifts God has placed in you are meant to bring light to others. Your purpose is not just personal, it's generational. You were designed to bring clarity, hope, and direction in a dark world. God created light to influence the earth. That's your role too. Let your life shine with excellence, character, and faith. Let your creativity be a beacon, your words a guide, your actions a testimony. Don't hide what God has lit inside of you. Someone's breakthrough is waiting on your light. Genesis 1:16. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. This reveals divine hierarchy and assigned influence. The sun and moon were created with specific assignments, day and night. Likewise, you have a unique place in God's plan. Don't compare your light to another's. Shine where you're assigned. He made the stars too. Sometimes we overlook the small lights, but God doesn't. Every detail matters to Him. Even if you feel like a background role or a quiet supporter, you are still a light in His design. Whether you're a sun, moon, or star, you are part of the divine illumination. Genesis 1:17. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. God didn't just create the lights, He placed them strategically. Placement is part of purpose. You are where you are for a reason. Stop cursing your current position. It may be exactly where your light is needed most. The lights were made to give, not to take. Your life is most powerful when it serves others. Use your position, your voice, your influence to brighten someone else's darkness. When your purpose is aligned with service, heaven multiplies your effectiveness. Genesis 1:18. And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. God gave the lights rulership. This tells us that influence is part of divine design. If you're called to lead, lead with grace and humility. Rulership is not about control, but stewardship. He also divided light from darkness again. Not everything should blend. In your success journey, you must continue to discern light from shadow, wisdom from foolishness. Keep your vision clear by constantly aligning with truth, and God will call your progress good. Genesis 1:19. And the evening and the morning were the 4th day. Another day closes, another phase complete. Don't rush to the finish line. Each day builds on the last. Even when it feels repetitive, God is layering strength and purpose into you. The 4th day reminds us that development takes time. Just because your dream hasn't fully formed yet doesn't mean it's not in motion. Keep showing up, keep building. The Creator is still crafting your story. Genesis 1:20. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven." God commanded abundance. Life was not made to be stagnant. If you're alive, you're meant to move. Don't settle in comfort zones. There's more inside you waiting to be released. Creatures of water and air remind us that some callings require depth and others demand elevation. Some seasons may require you to go deeper, others may lift you higher. Either way, you were created to move in your God-given domain with grace and purpose. Genesis 1:21. And God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. God didn't just create small things, He created the great and mighty as well. This reminds us that your vision doesn't have to be small to be spiritual. God can birth something massive through you. Don't limit your dream when you serve a limitless God. Notice the emphasis on after their kind. Everything God creates has an identity and assignment. Stay true to who you are in Christ. You don't need to imitate others to be impactful. Your uniqueness is your divine signature, and when you embrace it, God calls it good. Genesis 1:22. And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply and fill the waters and the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. God's first recorded blessing was not just about survival, it was about expansion. He doesn't want you to just exist, He wants you to increase. Fruitfulness is your portion. You were not made to stay stuck in one level of life. This blessing reveals that multiplication is rooted in divine instruction. When you operate under God's blessing, what you touch expands. Whether it's influence, resources, or wisdom, increase follows obedience. Walk under His favor and watch your capacity grow. Genesis 1:23. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. The rhythm of creation continues. Each day closes with purpose fulfilled. This is a reminder to take account of your own days. Are you progressing in your purpose or simply repeating routines? Progress may be quiet, but it's measurable when you're aligned with your calling. Day 5 encourages endurance. God's plan wasn't rushed, and yours shouldn't be either. If the vision is taking time, that means it's being built with care. Stay patient. The fifth day will pass, and the sixth will come with something even greater. Genesis 1:24. And God said, Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. God empowered the earth to produce. That means the environment He placed you in can support your calling. You're not planted randomly. Your soil has your supply. Every creature had its kind. Stop trying to walk with people who don't speak your language of purpose. Connection matters. Be around those who push you toward your assignment, not those who pull you into confusion. Right environments activate your potential. Genesis 1:25. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. God took time to detail even the smallest of creatures. This shows us that nothing is too insignificant for divine attention. If God cares for creeping things, He certainly cares for your struggles, your dreams, your process. God affirmed their goodness. Stop underestimating the impact of small beginnings. God sees your quiet consistency, your faithful stewardship, your hidden sacrifices, and He calls it good. It doesn't have to be flashy to be fruitful. Genesis 1:26. And God said, Let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion. This is where your story truly begins. You were created in God's image, not to live in defeat, but to walk in authority. Dominion is your birthright. You were not created to be controlled by fear, failure, or other people's opinions. Being made in His likeness means you carry divine potential. Creativity, strategy, leadership, vision, all flow from the image of God in you. Don't shrink yourself. You bear the mark of the Most High, and your life is designed to reflect His glory on earth. Genesis 1:27. So God created man in His own image. Male and female created He them. God's image is reflected in both male and female. This is a reminder of divine equality and sacred value. No one is more God-formed than another. Your gender, your background, your uniqueness, it all carries value in the eyes of the Creator. This verse affirms identity. When the world tries to label you by your flaws or failures, remember who made you. Your worth is not in how people see you, but in who formed you. God didn't copy you from a mold. He crafted you as a reflection of Himself. Genesis 1:28. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it. This blessing was an activation. God didn't just create you, He empowered you. You're not here to merely survive. You're here to dominate the space God placed you in. That includes your mind, your family, your finances, your calling. To subdue means to take control. Don't let chaos run your life. With God's Spirit in you, you have the power to bring order where there was confusion, hope where there was despair, and vision where there was emptiness. You are blessed to be a builder. Genesis 1:29. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, to you it shall be for meat. Provision was already prepared. Before Adam and Eve worked a single day, God had already supplied what they needed. That's grace. God supplies before He requires. Your future is already stocked with what you'll need. This is a reminder to stop panicking. If God has called you, He's already assigned provision for the journey. It may not look like what you expected, but the seed is there. Don't overlook what looks ordinary. Inside that seed is your harvest. Genesis 1:30. And to every beast of the earth, I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so. God didn't just provide for people, He cared for the animals too. That's how detailed His provision is. He leaves nothing uncovered. If the birds and beasts were fed, you can rest knowing your needs matter to Him. This verse also shows divine systems. God established a cycle of life where each part was nourished. Your success journey also needs systems, habits, rhythms, and boundaries that support your growth. Divine order produces peace and productivity. Genesis 1:31. And God saw everything that He had made, and behold, it was very good. On the sixth day, after forming man, God declared His creation very good. You were the finishing touch. Humanity completed the masterpiece. That's how highly He sees you. When you walk in your true purpose, heaven calls it excellent. God stepped back and looked at His work. Sometimes you need to pause and recognize how far you've come. Don't be so focused on what's next that you miss the goodness of what already is. Gratitude brings clarity. Celebrate your progress. God does. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining me today. May the truths from Genesis guide you and empower your journey. Stay blessed, keep the faith, and I'll see you in the next video.